Here's something that will mess with your head a little. If you looked at the monthly bank statements of a genuinely wealthy person, someone with, say, $5 or $10 million in assets, you'd probably be surprised. Not because of how much they spend, but because of what they don't spend on. No first-class upgrades, no brand new luxury car every 2 years, no $400 sneakers released every season, no table at the expensive rooftop bar every Friday night. And your first reaction might be, wait, if they can afford all of that, why aren't they buying it? That question right there is the whole point of this video, because the answer reveals something most people never figure out about money, something that separates the people who look wealthy from the people who actually are wealthy. Let's get into it. Most of us grew up with a very specific image of what rich looks like. Nice car, nice clothes, nice house, nice watch, nice everything. So when we start earning more money, whether it's a raise, a bonus, a new job, our brain immediately starts doing math. Okay, I can afford this now. I should upgrade. I've earned this. And that feeling is completely understandable. Spending feels like a reward. It feels like proof that you've made it. There's a reason luxury brands spend billions of dollars making sure that their products don't just feel premium, they feel like identity, like the kind of person you are. But here's where it gets dangerous. Most people spend money to signal wealth, and most wealthy people spend money to build more wealth. Those are two completely opposite strategies wearing the same outfit. And the gap between those two strategies is exactly why one person can earn $150,000 a year and feel broke, while another person earning $80,000 is quietly building real financial freedom.
It's not about income. It's about what you're doing with it. Let's talk about the specific expenses that rich people, real, quietly wealthy people, tend to avoid, and more importantly, why. The first one is the new car trap. The average new car loses somewhere between 15 and 25% of its value in the very first year. By year 5, it's worth roughly half of what you paid for it. You didn't buy an asset. You bought something that is actively shrinking in value from the moment you drive it off the lot. Now, here's the psychology behind why we still buy them. Car companies don't sell cars. They sell status and identity. They sell the feeling of being someone who drives that car, and our brains are wired to respond to that. Humans are deeply social creatures. We care, sometimes more than we'd like to admit, about how other people see us. But a wealthy person who understands money looks at a new car and sees something different. They see the price tag, sure, but they also see the insurance cost, the depreciation curve, the financing interest if they borrowed to buy it, and the opportunity cost, meaning what that money could have done if it was invested instead. A $50,000 car today, invested at an average return of 8% annually, becomes roughly $215,000 in 20 years. That's the actual cost of the car. Not $50,000, $215,000. Wealthy people think in opportunity cost constantly. The rest of us almost never do. The second expense is lifestyle inflation. This one is sneaky because it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like progress. You get a raise. You move to a bigger apartment. You get promoted. You start going to nicer restaurants. Your income grows. Your spending grows right alongside it. And somehow at the end of each month, you still have roughly the same amount left over. Economists actually have a name for this. They call it lifestyle creep. And it's one of the most consistent patterns in personal finance across all income levels. The person earning $40,000 says, I'll start saving when I earn $70,000. The person earning $70,000 says, I'll start investing seriously when I hit $100,000. And the person earning $100,000 has a bigger mortgage, a nicer car, club memberships, and a travel budget, and is saying the exact same thing about $150,000. The trap is real, and it scales with income. Wealthy people break this cycle by doing something psychologically difficult. They deliberately delay upgrading their lifestyle when their income increases. They let the gap between what they earn and what they spend grow wider. And that gap is where wealth actually gets built. The third expense is subscription and convenience creep. This one is easy to dismiss because each individual item seems so small. $12 here, $15 there, $20 for this app, $30 for that service. But add them all up, and a lot of people are sitting on $300 to $500 a month in subscriptions they barely use, automatic renewals they forgot about, and convenience services they signed up for during a busy week and never canceled.
The bigger issue isn't even the money, it's the mindset. Wealthy people pay close attention to recurring costs because they understand something important. A recurring expense is not $15, it's $180 a year, every year, possibly for the rest of your life if you never cancel it. Multiply that across 20 subscriptions, and you're looking at real money. Rich people aren't cheap, but they are intentional. There's a difference. The fourth is brand premium spending. There was a famous psychological study where researchers gave people 2 cups of the same wine, identical wine from the same bottle, but told them one cost $10 and the other cost $90. Guess which one people said tasted better? The $90 one. Every time. Our brains are wired to associate price with quality. Marketers know this, so they price their products not just based on what it costs to make them, but based on the identity they want you to attach to owning them. A plain white t-shirt from a basic brand costs $15. The same white t-shirt from a designer label costs $150. The cotton is often identical. What you're paying for is the logo, which is really just a signal to other people that you can afford the logo. Genuinely wealthy people tend to care very little about this, not because they're frugal or boring, but because they've already built real security. They don't need to signal status through their clothes. Their net worth does that quietly, without anyone needing to see it.
Here's the deeper idea underneath all of this. There are 2 types of expenses in the world. Expenses that make your life better and your financial position better, or at least don't hurt it, and expenses that make your life feel better in the moment while quietly weakening your financial position over time. The tricky part is that the second type rarely feels like a mistake when you make it. It feels justified. It feels earned. It feels normal because everyone around you is doing the same thing. Psychologists call this social comparison. We don't measure our financial decisions against an objective standard. We measure them against the people we see around us, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors. And if everyone in our circle is buying new cars and upgrading their apartments and wearing the same brands, it starts to feel like that's just what you do when you earn a certain income. But wealthy people, especially first-generation wealthy people who built it themselves, tend to have a different reference group. They compare themselves to where they want to be financially, not to what their social circle is doing right now. That shift in thinking changes everything. There's also something called the hedonic treadmill. The idea is simple. Humans adapt to new pleasures incredibly quickly. The new car that felt amazing in month 1 feels completely ordinary by month 6. The upgraded apartment that excited you when you first moved in becomes just where you live. And so you need something new, something bigger, something more expensive to get that same feeling again. Wealthy people understand this pattern, and they find ways to get genuine satisfaction from things that don't cost more and more money over time. Experiences, relationships, freedom, time. These things don't depreciate, they don't require upgrades, and they don't quietly drain your bank account every month.
So what can you actually do differently? The first thing is to start thinking in annual and long-term costs. Every time you're about to make a recurring purchase, do a quick calculation. What does this cost per year? What would this money become in 10 years if it was invested instead? This doesn't mean you never spend money. It means you spend it consciously, knowing the real price tag. The second thing is to create a spending gap on purpose. When your income goes up, raise, bonus, new job,
don't automatically let your lifestyle go up by the same amount. Let at least half of that increase go directly into savings or investments before your brain has time to spend it. The easiest way to do this is to automate it. Set up an automatic transfer the day your paycheck arrives. Remove the decision entirely. The third thing is to audit your recurring expenses once every 3 to 6 months. Go through your bank statement and list every subscription and automatic charge. For each one, ask honestly, if I had to actively sign up for this again today, would I? If the answer is no, cancel it. And finally, separate your self-worth from your spending. This one is the hardest, but it's the most important. A lot of our spending is really about how we want to feel about ourselves and how we want others to see us. When you start feeling secure in your identity without needing your purchases to prove anything, your financial decisions change completely.
Here's the thought I want to leave you with. The things that make you look wealthy and the things that actually make you wealthy are often the exact opposite of each other. The new car signals that you have money, but it's also one of the fastest ways to make sure you have less of it. The designer outfit says you've made it, but the person who quietly drives a 5-year-old sedan and invests the difference is the one who's actually building something real. Wealth isn't loud. It doesn't wear a logo. It doesn't need to prove itself. It just grows, quietly, consistently, in the background, while everyone else is trying to look the part. The question is, which game do you want to be playing? If you want more simple finance videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family.